Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another Friday. And today is a Cat Scrappiness day for me, so I'm going to be using three of the shaker card kits, the new ones that she's got in the shop. And I'm going to start off with the snow globe. And this is how they come in their package. They come with your actual die, your cut, and it's kind of like almost like a wood, like maybe a balsa wood. It's real thin. And then you've got your acetate, and you have your piece of foam that fits on the inside. So all three pieces come in each one of those kits, so it makes it real easy for you to put together a shaker. And I'm just kind of going through and showing you some of the stuff that I use to make my background and whatnot. The picture, the little Santa with his hands up in the air, is stinking adorable. That's a Gerda Steiner. And I'm just going to, I want to color this. So I flipped it over and there's a craft side and a white side. So I'm going to use the white side on this one. And I'm going to use some Barn Door Archival ink. Nice bright red. It happens to be the same ink I used to stamp my background, the plaid background. And it worked perfectly. It's nice and the color is absolutely gorgeous, and it worked great to color this. And I also, I'm going to make myself a little wooden base. And the wooden base is just made out of brown cardstock that I ran through with a wood embossing folder. So I trimmed it down to fit the bottom of my little snow globe there. And to make it a little bit more dimensional, I cut off the top piece, and then I put a couple of little brads through either side, and then I popped it up. You'll see here in a second, I popped it up with some foam dimensional adhesive, just to give it a little more dimension on the front. I thought it looked cute that way. Plus it made it easier for me to, so you could see part of the round globe behind it. And then the sentiment was a part of the original design by Gerda Steiner. I just trimmed that down to fit perfectly on the front of my little globe there. I colored in my image with my Copic markers, and I had like a little bit of a glitter explosion on the inside of my snow globe, because at this point I was like, well, let's decorate the inside. I wanted to put some snow on the trees, and so I added some glue, and then I put some glitter on it. It looked terrible. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. So I brushed off as much of the glitter as I could, and then I used stickles on each one of the trees to create some snow, and also like under his feet and in the snow. But you can still see the glitter that's still stuck to the inside. But on a good note, once I put in all the little shaker bits and put it all together, it looks like it's a part of the scene, so it actually worked out really well. So for the inside, the shaker bits, I am using, these are winter snowflakes, and I've also got some of the stars. They're like little tiny iridescent stars. They're very sparkly, super cute. I'm going to glue my little piece right on top, so I'm using art glitter glue because it dries clear, just in case I smush some out, which I always do. And then I made myself three little dimensional snowflakes out of some dies I have in my stash. And that is going to complete my little card here. And this one is called the Merry Christmas Snow Globe Shaker Card Kit. That's the official name for that one. On to the next one. I made myself a background using some pretty colors from my stash. They're all distress inks. And I used a little bit of water to give it some texture. And now I'm using a couple of my these are old Unity stamps, and they are ornaments. And I'm just going to use my embossing ink and some white embossing powder and create myself a couple of ornaments in the background. And then I'm going to pop up the other ornament, the actual shaker. That's called the Snowflake. Let me look, make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Snowflake Ornament Shaker Card Kit is that one that's up there in the corner there. I have an embossing pen. If you don't have an embossing pen, you should get one because they're awesome. And it allows you to kind of fix, well, besides the fact that you can fix your mistakes, you can also draw in on your paper. So you can even do all the way like around. You can do a nice pretty little scrolling design around the outside of your card, or you can do like I'm doing right here, which is so that my little ornament baubles aren't just hanging out in space. I'm actually just drawing some string that's hanging, so that way they're kind of grounded. And just use my embossing powder to create that. And now I'm also going to use embossing powder on my ornament. So I wanted to see if this would work, and it worked out great. but I'm going to use some of this. I wish I had picked a different color because this one's really dark. I thought it would heat emboss lighter than it did, but it didn't. It's pretty dark, but it's okay. I still think it looks pretty once I added all my little decorations around it, because I used a lot of white kind of around it to make it not quite so dark. You'll see when I get to the end. But so I'm just taking my little embossing ink, and now I'm going to take the embossing powder. Should have known right here when I spread it all over that it was going to be super dark, but I was still hoping for the best. So I ended up doing it twice because I didn't get enough coverage the first time, and that was just the ink itself. I just didn't get into all the nooks and crannies. So once I heat set this the first time, I went back and did it a second time. So that's 2 times right there with the embossing ink and powder. And now I'm going to start putting my little ornament together. So I used tape this time to place my acetate and then the little foam piece. Then I'm going to fill it up with my shaker bits, so I'm using the snowflakes. And I'm also using the stars. Those are iridescent stars. And now I'm going to place my backing on. And I just used a circle die to cut out one that fit. And now I'm going to start placing my card together. And then I'm just going to place that ornament right there in the middle, kind of off to the side just a little bit so you can see the background, a couple ornaments in the background, and then I'm going to decorate around it. So to decorate around it, I just use some of those snowflakes again. I also use some white ribbon and some white twine ribbon, and then my sentiment I put on white cardstock as well with the Happy Holidays, and that completes that card. I'll show you a little close-up of that one. Oh, I also use my white gel pen to kind of go around and put some little white dot detail all over the background. For my third one, I made an ornament, and I tried to use some of that foil on it, and I failed miserably. So I went back to what I knew would work, which was the embossing powder. So I think that that stuff right there would have worked if I used the sticky embossing powder, but I tried to use glue and it just didn't work out. I may try again with the sticky embossing powder, but for now I just ended up using a real pretty gold, it's a Recollections embossing powder, and it's very sparkly and very bright. I'm going to place on my acetate and my little foam ring right behind it. I also cut out a piece of backing. Um, I just used the oval, embossed edge oval one that was the same size as this. You can see them kind of off to the side right there. I just matched them up to the back. I'm going to place it all together. Then I made myself a little shaker, little sequin mix over there from a bunch of different ones that I have in my stash. They're all, I think, Crafter's Companion. There's some golds and some whites and some reds, and then some clear, what do you call them? Beads, little clear beads. Just to kind of give it something so when you shake it, it really sounds like it's shaking. I'm going to use glue to put my backing on, and then I'm going to decorate this because I want this to be a tag that you can also use as an ornament after you're done. So you can have your to from on the back, who you're going to give it to, you put your little note on there, and then they can hang it on the tree. So I'm just going to add a bunch of greenery. So in my stash, I have quite a lot of Spellbinders dies, and that's what this is. This is just a bunch of like Christmas greenery from, I don't even know, kits past of Spellbinders, but any little greenery stuff that you've got that gives it kind of that holiday flair. Or if you don't have this kind of stuff, or you don't have these kind of dies, you can also get actual like flowers, like go to Michael's or whatever and get the actual like silk flowers, or even the paper flowers in the paper section, and you can decorate it using actual, like 3-dimensional flowers. You don't have to do just paper like this. You can really make it really pretty fun design on the front of these. I love this ornament. I think it came out so nice. I think the person, I already know who I'm giving it to. They're gonna love this. This is my favorite one out of all of them. And that is going to complete that one. So there's 3 more projects using the shaker card kits. I have a couple more coming next week, and then I will start on the new dies that will be for the Christmas. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you again next Friday with more projects from Kat Scrappiness. Bye-bye!